In this episode of Tesla series, we are reviewing a newly released instrument cluster display from Hansshow. The display for Tesla Model 3 and Y features a front bumper camera, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and shows critical car information directly on your view. It supports 4G connectivity, allows you to use its hotspot, and comes with the Tesla-like over-the-air software updates. For a limited time during the holidays, Hansshow has agreed to increase our discount code to 25% off. So please do take advantage of the code Shiva Tesla during checkout to get a significant discount on all Hansshow products. If you're new to the channel, we cover all types of Tesla accessories and show you step-by-step installation guides. Please hit that subscribe button for more videos like this in the future. To the returning subscribers, we really appreciate your continued support. As always, let's begin with the installation and we'll move on to our review. All of these components look a bit overwhelming, so let me break it down for you so that it might look less scary. First of all, I think Hansshow is including a special Christmas decor or a gift of some sort with all of this packaging right now. If you order it, this is an air freshener. I think they have some Christmas special puddle light, so that should be coming with your packages. And then of course, this is the unit itself, right? So this is the display. It looks slightly different than the larger display because it looks thinner in size. The bezels are smaller. We'll talk about all of this here in just a second. But then it has the similar type of wiring. This looks very identical to the Linux display, the 10.25 original display that we installed. It just has a little bit more wires than the original version. For example, this one has a GPS signal, and then it has that 4G signal. This is the front camera, and then it has got the communication from that autopilot computer in the front, and then you got your power and ground. So this display will mount exactly the same location, and then we'll discuss further components about this display here in just a little bit. Now, we got two main wires here. This one is for the AMD chip, so cars, the newer cars, 2022 models with the AMD chip has this harness, and this one is the Intel harness. So if you have the older cars like mine, prior to 2022, you likely have an Intel chip. So this is what you are going to install, and this follows the typical procedure. We're going to bypass the front computer plug using this. That is in that difficult location underneath the glove box, and then you got all these plugs that are connected to the display itself, so your power, ground, your communications, and then there are two extra ones. This is for the power and ground. So technically for the Intel versions, you don't need this, the power and ground, but I highly recommend it. This is when if the display is drawing too much power from the computer, Tesla might freak out, give you some kind of warning. They might give you autopilot warning. So I would highly recommend, even if you have an Intel version, to connect this to the front battery, and I'll show you here during the installation process on how to do that. Now the AMD version follows the same procedure, except there are some notable differences. Right here, if you see, this has been taped off, so there is no connection. We're not going to bypass that front computer, and your front computer, if you have the AMD chip, is going to be on the side door pillar, and that's the blue plug that you see, and all you're going to do is, that plug is empty right now, the female plug, you're just going to plug this in there. And that's it. You don't have to reach that difficult location. It is all on the side door panel. Then you're going to route this ground and power to the front battery. So similar to the Intel that I'm going to show, your battery is going to look slightly different if you have the AMD version, but the procedure is the same. You have to connect the red to the positive and then black to the ground, and then the rest are just going to the display. So that's the only difference between the Intel and the AMD, is really, instead of reaching that difficult plug on the Intel underneath the glove box, you're just going to reach the side door panel, and that's it. Now, rest of these components are for different modules. So for example, this is the GPS module we are going to install on that front dash, and I'll show you how to do that in just a second. So that's GPS. This is just the hardware that we'll use to install this display on the dash, and it comes with the screws that you're going to need. This is the 4G module. We're going to be installing on the front right next to where it has your VIN number. So we're going to stick this on the front windshield. This has some adhesives here for different components. And then you got your camera. So this is that front bumper camera. This blue one is the extension wire, and this is the new camera. So this camera, I asked Hansshow if I can just use the version 1 camera, and they say that the version 1 camera was a 720p camera. This is a 1080p camera, so we need to install a 1080p better camera. Technically, I think the wiring works, but they made the new display compatible with the new version of the camera. So we're going to install this in the front bumper, and then they just send you some screws that you can use underneath the license plate, and then this one is just the adhesive if you just want to use the adhesive. So that is everything that you need to know about this display. Let's go ahead and get the installation process started. I recommend starting your installation by reaching in this area right here and removing those 4 plastic screws so that we can remove this panel right here. For the AMD card, so that's for the Intel chip, our computer plug is going to be located right here, but for the AMD one, your computer plug is going to be located somewhere right here, but you would still have to remove this so that you can route the wire to the front battery. Remove those 4 plastic screws. You can use a pry tool to remove them. Once the panel is removed, you will see the LED light connector, which can be removed by pinching on the middle tab and pulling it out. Then the speaker plug can be disconnected by simply pulling on the plug. If you're not installing the front camera, please skip over to the part where we connect to the front battery. Remove the top air vent by simply pulling up on it. Be gentle with this process as those clips shouldn't require much force. Remove the HVAC panel by gently pulling on it. It is held by those white clips. Pull up the front latch panel, take it out, and remove the front cable. Remove the front panel screws using 10mm socket. There are 7 screws, including the ones under the clips that are in the front. Remove the front panel by just gently pulling on the edges. Make your way around by starting on one edge of the car and go towards the other end. Take a fishing wire, not provided in my packaging, and push it through the rubber piece under the front bumper. Connect the camera cable to the fishing wire using electrical tape. Install the camera by using the double-sided tape. You can also use the screws that came with the system to secure the camera. Now pull the fishing tape to route the camera cable. Take the camera extension cable, doesn't matter the side because they are both the same, and connect it to the camera cable we just fished. Use the electrical tape to fix the connection. Route the cable towards the front. Hopefully your car has a rubber plug here that you can just cut a small hole to pass this cable. Mine has metal. Tesla didn't finish mine properly. So I'm going to route mine through a different opening towards the right. I had to do the exact same thing for my power frunk install earlier in the year. If you're not installing the camera, simply insert the power cables through the same firewall plug. We don't have to remove the entire front panel for this, and simply need to route those cables and connect with the front battery. If you have a newer car, your battery will look different than mine, but it follows the same principle. Loosen the positive terminal and insert the positive wire into the terminal. Make sure to fully secure the terminal screw to prevent damage to your 12-volt battery. Go ahead and follow the same protocol for the negative terminal. If you have a newer car, this terminal might not even be directly connected to the battery, but it is in a visible location. Next, we're going to remove the side dash trim panel on both sides of the car. We need to also remove this side door panel on both sides. If your car has an AMD chip, you also have to remove the bottom door panel. Once you remove the side trim panels on both sides, the dash easily comes out. This dash is just held down by a few plastic clips. We're going to take the display end of the wire harness and pass it through this opening on the side of the door panel. There should be 3 plugs. Then pass them through this wire as well. If you're installing the front camera, please also route that plug through this exact same location. This is the difficult plug we need to remove for the cars with an Intel chip. You just have to pinch on the middle tab and while holding it down, pull the plug out. Then take the new harness and plug the male Tesla adapter into the female adapter of the new harness, and then take the new male adapter and plug it into the Tesla computer. Make sure to align the plug straight to prevent bending Tesla pins. Again, this is super tedious and requires a lot of patience. At the end, it should make a complete circuit. If your car has an AMD chip, you just have to plug the new male adapter in this blue port that is not plugged into anything on the side door panel. Grab the GPS module, remove the back adhesive cover, and stick it in this location on the side dash panel. Route the cable towards the dash and we'll connect it to the display in a little bit. This is the 4G module, and we need to remove the back adhesive and install it in the very front in the windshield. This could go right where it shows your VIN. Then route the cable towards the dash by hiding it behind the panel gaps. Now on to installing the actual display. This one seems to be different for different cars, so after many installations, I find it easy to just center the display into the steering wheel cutout and just align the wires and display legs with your air vents. Depending on your OCD level, you might need to check your car and align everything and use painter's tape to mark those holes. Insert those wires through the air vent and push the display to secure it in place. Flip the dash over and install the metal plate in the back. Remember, the display is not yet secured until you install the screws, so be very careful turning the dash. Use the screws and the washer to secure the display. Take your time with this step and do not over tighten those screws. Now all there is left to do is connect those plugs together. I'm starting with the blue front camera. There is an arrow and you just have to align those and push those plugs together to secure it. Secure the rest of the plug. The red for power, yellow for communication, the black for ground. And finally, there are two plugs left, one for the GPS and another for the 4G antenna. The GPS one is coming from the passenger side that connects to the plug that says GPS. The 4G plug is coming from the front windshield and connects to the plug that says 4G. The display should have power now. Before we push down the dash, do some cable management by using electrical tape. This is what it should look like with the display fully installed. So as far as the functionality goes, it follows the same principle of the previous generation displays. It shows all the critical car information directly on your view, and you can either use the touch screen to control the display or use the right scroll wheel on your steering wheel panel. It has HD graphics and some customization options. Other than this display being much faster than the older versions, there are a few notable changes. You can now change the time format. Set it automatically follow the car, the GPS, or manually set the time zone. You can now tap on the temperature to change between Fahrenheit and Celsius. It now shows autopilot activation in the screen, even on the split screen view. So this is a great addition because the first generation display did that. The second generation they killed it. Now it is back again and it works really well. The front camera is a HD 1080p resolution camera compared to the 720p on the first generation display. Speaking of which, the camera is radar triggered, so if it detects obstacle, the camera turns on automatically. It also turns on when you put the car in a drive mode and it stays on for about 10 seconds. Since we tend to talk a lot about CarPlay in this channel, let's do Android Auto today for a change and then we'll move on to CarPlay. So to connect the Android Auto, just go to the CarPlay interface right here and it says please use the Z-Link to connect using Bluetooth. So we need to go to our phone, tap pair a new device, and then right here, this is the A007BT. When you click on that, it has a message that pops up that asks you to pair. So it's just taking a little bit of time. So right here, it says pair, and now it is connected. Now that it turned blue, there is a green circle moving right here, and the Android Auto should be connected anytime. Right here, it says continue setup on your car. So we go to the car, we'll just do continue, and everything should be good to go. So there you go. You have the Android Auto directly on this display. So this is what the Android Auto interface looks like. You have all the supported app. You can get more apps that are supported, but iHeartRadio, we got Messenger, we got all these apps. The Waze is here. So whatever you want to use an Android Auto is good to go. You can also use Google Map. So that is the full Android Auto version. You can still use Android Auto on this side and have this floating view of the car on the right side. Or if you want the full screen, you can also turn this off. Then it will just be Android Auto. But kind of like to keep this car information on this side so that I can still see the speed and everything while still having the Android Auto on a decent size screen. Now moving on to CarPlay, it follows the exact same logic here as well. So you go to your Bluetooth setting and then that is the A007 Bluetooth, and it will pop up with that notice right there where it says pair. So pair and then allow, and then it'll ask if we wanted to use CarPlay. So if you just give it a second, it'll ask the CarPlay, so use CarPlay, and then if we look at the screen right there, it should just pop up CarPlay right there. So it's going right now. It's going to take a second because this is the first time that we are connecting this to CarPlay. But after this initial stage, it should automatically connect every time you go inside your car. So there you go. So now we have full Apple CarPlay right here, and this is the full version where it has Waze, it has calendar, it has all the apps that you want to install. So this is pretty neat. And as I said, every time you go inside the car from now, it will automatically connect to the car, so you don't have to do anything. You set it and you forget about it. So for the audio option, I would still recommend you connect your phone and leave it connected to your Tesla and not connect to this little display for the multimedia Bluetooth setting. So still leave your phone connected to this, so then you can directly get your phone call, you can play your music and everything, and it will directly play from your phone to the Tesla. Now, you can still get CarPlay on this device without connecting to the audio. So if your phone offers a dual Bluetooth setting, which is most modern phones do, then you can connect to this display just for the CarPlay, and you can leave your phone connected to your Tesla for all the audio needs, so that when you get a phone call, it comes to the Tesla, you answer it, but you'll also see the phone call come in here. Just the audio won't go through this display. It will go directly to your Tesla. However, if your phone does not allow dual Bluetooth, then what you can do is go over here to your car setting, connect to a phone, and you can do add a new device, start a search, and there is going to be a device called Tesla Screen BT. So when you connect to that Bluetooth, what happens is then you play something from your phone, you project it out to this display, then it goes to your Tesla and plays through the Tesla's speaker. So there is a solution even if your phone doesn't offer the dual Bluetooth mode, but it is preferred that you just use the phone's Bluetooth directly connected to the Tesla if your phone supports it. This also has a full version of Google Play Store, allowing you to download various apps, including YouTube. It also supports multiple screen mode, where we can have split screen or even a floating screen. For the 4G connectivity, you can use a SIM ejector tool or any other pointy tool to remove the SIM tray. You're going to need a nano SIM card with a data plan in it. After you insert the nano SIM card into the tray, you need to make sure that the chip portion of the SIM card is facing towards the windshield. When you push it in, it should go in really nicely and you shouldn't require any force. Now after that, all you have to do is go to your general setting and then reboot the screen. When you reboot the display, you are going to see that 4G bar as filled. So the signal is pretty great right here. Then all you have to do is go to this setting, the hotspot setting. You can just tap in it, and then now it will tell you all those settings. So if we connect right here, Wi-Fi hotspot, then we can go ahead and say we want the hotspot to be turned on. So we turn this on. Then right here is the advanced, where there is the security, there is the password. And if you just press on the password, I renamed mine to Hansshow, but you can just change that right there. You're allowed to change that in this display. So I changed my hotspot name to Shiva Tesla. So that is the broadcasted SSID. Let's go ahead and connect in our phone and then see if the internet works. It's connected. So Shiva Tesla is the Wi-Fi that is connected. So that's the hotspot. Now let's try to go into internet and it should pop up. So if we put Tesla, there you go. There is internet. So the hotspot is working from that device to here using a 4G SIM card. So if we go to the Wi-Fi setting here, we find Shiva Tesla. So this is the hotspot that we just connected. So the password we chose was Hansshow. So we're going to type in Hansshow and just hit confirm. And this should be connecting to the Shiva Tesla right there. So once it connects, right here, it has a check mark, green check mark. So it is connected to the hotspot. And we just need to go to the settings here. And when you reach Shiva Tesla, just make sure this checkbox is connected. So remain connected in drive. So as soon as you put it on drive, this display, the hotspot emitted from this Hansshow display will always remain connected to this. So you'll always have Wi-Fi while driving. Now, a big benefit of that, of course, is that you can use premium connectivity now with the car without paying for the premium connectivity. Basically, you can use all the music, everything that is supported in Wi-Fi, now it will be supported even when you're out if you don't pay for Tesla's premium connectivity. So that is a big benefit using a 4G SIM here. So if you want to get a data plan for this display, like for example, T-Mobile allows a iPad type of plan where it doesn't have calling or texting feature, it only has data. So if you get a SIM card for that and you use it for here, then you can not only get hotspot for your phone, for your iPads, for your kid in the back, but you can also connect to Tesla and potentially not have to pay for premium connectivity if you can just use the Wi-Fi while you are driving. You can get 95% of the features with the premium connectivity, except I think satellite map is not supported even if you have Wi-Fi. So just a few things, just look into the premium connectivity. I also did a video last year sometime, I'll put a link down below, on difference between standard and premium connectivity. Another benefit of using that 4G connection and being compatible with that SIM card is now you can use any of the native apps without needing a phone. So if you just want to use navigation on this device without ever connecting to a phone for CarPlay or anything, you can do that. You just have to go over here, and in the map is already activated. You can go wherever you want using that navigation system because the 4G is connected. And that is also true for any of the apps that you find here. So you can use YouTube, you can use music. So if you go to the application, you can do any of this. Like you can go to Google Chrome, and you don't ever need a phone's internet to do that. So this becomes an independent display, just like your Tesla. If you have that premium connectivity in your Tesla, you can use YouTube and everything on the Tesla without needing an internet. This display basically becomes that, where it already has that 4G there, so you are independent without needing your phone. So here we are not connected to Wi-Fi, as the Wi-Fi is grayed out. We have a strong 4G signal and we're not connected to phone. So there's no CarPlay, or this device is not getting internet from anywhere except from this 4G connection. So if we go to the application here, we're able to go to YouTube and just play videos from YouTube without needing that Wi-Fi connection. So if we go to our channel, you can see all our videos. Go here, we can just press on this and start playing the video without, again, needing any Wi-Fi or a phone's connectivity, because this is all directly from that 4G SIM that we put in. One of the main benefits of the display is the Tesla-like over-the-air updates. Hansshow told me that they will automatically push those updates on an as-needed basis, and if they add new features. I think this will allow them to troubleshoot the display issues and try various patches more easily. There are some customizations you can do using a USB-C drive. I was able to name my car and also add a picture of myself sitting on the front seat when the front driver door was open. So yeah, you can have some fun with this display if you are into customizing your car. Of course, the main downside of such display is the blockage of airflow to your face. And to be fair, this one doesn't block as much as the first version, but it still sits on the airflow path. Like the previous version, the display also has some glares while driving against direct sunlight. The night driving is awesome though, and it follows the car's brightness setting. We'll bring today's video to an end here, but we'll likely make a follow-up video after doing some more testing, especially on the 4G connectivity. So please do me a favor and list your questions or requests for feature testing in the comment section below, and I'll follow up in the near future. If you want to check this display out, I'll put a link down below in the description along with a special discount code. Thank you very much for watching this video. We'll be back again soon with another Tesla accessory.